go. Hi guys, welcome to my watch along for the, I think it's what, round eight of the Italian of the FIA Formula Championship. Excuse me, just having lunch. Yeah, we are live for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, which is going to be a very strange Italian Grand Prix because obviously the massive Tifosi fan base for Ferrari, not to mention with the struggles of Ferrari at the minute. But obviously with no fans still, the talk is around about Portugal bringing the fans back in terms of the F1, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I will briefly bring up the grid lineup for today's race. As we all know, Hamilton, after qualifying yesterday, is on pole, and his teammate in second, and just utterly dominating the session yet again, which I'll get onto the rules about the power party modes and that just in a minute once I've given this lineup. So you're just talking about what's right. So yeah, there are a couple of obviously news stories. Obviously, the fact that Ferrari have struggled this weekend. Hi Grant, hi Premier League Reviews, nice to have you along. Yeah, I'm doing okay for now. Hope you guys are too. But yeah, Williams are hosting as a family their last race before the Donington Capital takeover is done. So this is their last Grand Prix as a family team, which is a sad shame. 7 drivers' titles, 7 constructors' titles. Nigel Mansell, Damon Hill, Keke Rosberg. So yeah, it's just a massive shame. But unfortunately, that's the price you pay for sitting at the back of the grid in Formula One. But yeah, obviously after qualifying, we had Ferrari, their worst performance at the Italian Grand Prix in qualifying since 1984. And we've also, as they're just about to do their the end racism message and display, and yeah, worrying times obviously still with Ferrari at the minute, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better with this Grand Prix. So yeah, let me know how you think this afternoon is going to go. Do you think Red Bull can pose a threat on Mercedes, or do you think it's just going to be more of the same? To be honest, do you think the actual restriction on party modes is going to help the racing? Is it going to stop Mercedes? Is it going to benefit any teams specifically? For me, I don't like the idea. I think it's absolute crap. The whole point of Formula One is to develop technology to make the car go faster. It shouldn't be made to be restricted. And this debate has been going on Is this still a... Yeah, you can talk about football during this race as well if you want to. Obviously, mainly trying to focus on the F1. But but yeah, so like I said, I think it's just utter rubbish, and it's been going on since Ferrari had those extra party modes. I know I'm trying to find one. If you can hear the TV, please just give us a shout. But yeah, like I said, I think it's utter rubbish that we have to have these restrictions, and it's been going on since Mercedes had their own party mode and Red Bull haven't. And Red Bull have been a very, very loud voice in the fact that they haven't got party modes on their engine, which is not fair. Well, you also had a blown diffuser that was better than everyone else's, but we couldn't take that out of your car in 2011, right? So it's called like catching up and development. Otherwise, the sport doesn't move forward. As they've just played the national anthem, Italian national anthem. I did say it was the Italian Grand Prix. Well, no, but you have to say Italian. I did say it was the Italian. Yeah, so I don't like the way F1 is becoming. I think they are trying to ruin it. Yeah, I've since obviously I've never liked the hybrid era era. Sorry, I've not liked it too much, but they've had to make a commitment in terms of the sport continuing to go carbon neutral by, I believe, 2030. We don't know how that's going to end up looking like. Is it going to be that like the obviously being carbon neutral? Are they going to have the same sound, the same effect, the same atmosphere? That's obviously a debate that's going to happen way into the future. But I think what would be helpful is the new rules that come into effect in 2022 in terms of budgets being capped. It will make it more fairer, more spread out. It will help give teams a chance to catch up to others, and in doing so, should hopefully produce more competitive racing. We hope, obviously. Plus, obviously, with the other sort of car regulations to help make it more safe in terms of an accident, because they don't like the way that when the car goes, it just answers comment. Hi, when you my next I'm doing that show. It's not just an Arsenal press show, transfer updates show. It's just football in general, football news. That's going to be every Wednesday, and I should have a few more guests coming on for that. So that's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So be sure to tune in for that. Obviously, we'll have that debate between, apparently now Messi has said he's wanting to stay at Barcelona and not go to Guardiola. So we'll have to. But yeah, hopefully by then, Aubameyang signed, and the Awar and Partey deals are at least on the end. At the end, you're more than welcome. And it's like I said, I'm happy to do them because I get to talk about football. And I could talk about football for days. But yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts and predictions on this Grand Prix. And any other questions you may have, feel free to share. But we are 4 minutes from 4 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes. Give it another couple after that, and we should have the formation lap. And we'll get this race underway. It'll be a long run down to turn one, so a good start is key here. Right, so it's always when the formation lap starts is when I start getting nervous. That's the thing. I think also after this Grand Prix, they stay in the same country because we got just at a different race circuit. I think we've got the Toscana. Toscana Grand Prix. Yeah. Yeah, the Toscana Grand Prix, which is, I believe, Imola. Yeah, Imola. It's all right, Mum's talking to the dog. Right, got the dog around. I'm just hoping no one knocks on the door. Right, because he'll bark his head off. I think the shock out of qualifying was Sainz. I think that was the lap. As much as Hamilton got fastest lap, but we were expecting that to get the fastest ever lap because they are faster this year, and it's the Mercedes. But Carlos Sainz to pull it out in front of the Red Bulls and come out third with Lando Norris sixth, I think was the lap of the qualifying session. I think if you watch qualifying one, that was very interesting, right? Not such a happy end to the qualifying if you're a Sebastian Vettel fan. And actually, we're just talking about Lando and about the fact he's very comical and has a lot of humour. And it reminded me of Vettel when he first started. He had a lot of jokes and laughter about it. But what I don't like is when people like show them that they've got that sort of humour side that they think they don't take it seriously, and they do. Once that visor comes down, they don't joke around. They get on with it, right? And they're giving 110%. So here we are literally now a couple of minutes away, literally just a no break, right? It's like the ad break before the football, so you can get the latest odds. But actually, going back to, I would actually say, going back to Grant's comment, um, if anyone has any, what would you like to F1 to do to make it a better sport, in your opinion? That would be a question. Right? If you believe at the minute that it's not going the way you want it to go and it's been ruined and stuff like that, what would you do? If you're Ross Bourne, head of Formula One management, what would you do to make it a better sport, but relevant in its current time? So relevant in technology, because it's always been at the forefront of technology in cars. Right? A lot of the stuff you see come out now has been developed over time, and you first see it in the sport. What's that? Yeah, a lot of people said that, and they came up with the DRS system, but then a lot of people started moaning that it becomes artificial. Yeah, and it becomes too easy. But it becomes too easy. Could do. But that's more down to commercial side. Who's going to pay up the most to get a Grand Prix on the calendar? Because it ain't exactly cheap. I do have to admit, this is one of my favourite Grand Prix, to be honest. Monza. Like, low down force. You can see how fast the cars go in a straight line. And for it being such a small circuit, it only got a certain amount of laps. So it's just showing how the start could be so chaotic at turn one. Hamilton's attempts to try and overtake Leclerc at turn 4 in 2019 last year. Still say Leclerc was a bit over aggressive in that maneuver, in that defensive maneuver, and then Ascari where Vettel spun and then he took half the grid out. Should expect just a normal one-stop strategy for this Grand Prix. Unless there's going to be a safety car, then it would make it like the last Grand Prix, and even like the British Grand Prix, where it was touch and go in terms of getting the tyres to last. But that's only if there's an early safety car. So we got Carlos Sainz third, Sergio Perez fourth, Verstappen fifth, Norris sixth, Ricciardo seventh, Stroll eighth, Alexander Albon, Pierre Gasly in 9th and 10th, Kvyat 11th, Ocon 12th, Charles Leclerc, first Ferrari in 13th, Raikkonen 14th. Is the two Hasses 15th and 16th. Vettel 17th, and Giovinazzi 18th, and the two Williams bring up the rear in the last ever Grand Prix for Williams. Before he gets handed to Dannington Capital, I believe, company is. Which is a shame. Again, like I said, a very historic name in Formula One, multiple championships, big names in the cars such as Rosberg, Damon Hill, Mansell, PK as well. Obviously Senna, but only for 2 races. Right, the car's about to be released for their formation lap. I said that. We expect the lap record to be smashed. The fastest lap in history in Formula One with these cars, because they did it last year and the year before, and they've been 2 steps faster every year. So at 2:10, we are on the formation lap, which technically is the start of the race. Because you wouldn't have a formation lap in a wet race, you would just start off the grid behind the safety car. So we're expecting them to stop around about lap on the soft tyre around about lap 16, and then go on to the hard, or a 1 stop on the mediums from lap 22 onwards. But like I said, a very easy 1-stop strategy shouldn't really cause too many problems, unless like they're forced into a very early pit stop. So just showing a points tally: Hamilton 157, Verstappen 110, Bottas 107, Albon 4th, Leclerc 5th on 45, Norris 6th, Vettel is 13th in the championship. Right, with Stroll, Ricciardo, Perez, Ocon, Sainz, Gasly all in front of him. So yeah, it just shows how far fallen Ferrari have in the space of a year. Don't forget they were pole position. Right, it's like they've traded in their Ferrari and traded it in for a red Ford for my old red Ford Fiesta. Right, gone from like 400 brake horsepower to barely getting over 100. And even you can tell on here, you can tell how much rear wing they're running in terms of downforce by how thin or thick the wing is. And you can see their wing is incredibly thin, which then means through sector 2 they're going to be suffering all the time because they're going to be struggling to turn in, as well as getting traction out of the corners. So they're about to line up on the grid. All right, quickly, who's going to lead after turn 1? All right, put it in the comments. Is it going to be carnage, or is everyone going to get through in one piece? So, no, we don't want injuries, do we? We don't want injuries. Oh. Right. As the 2 Williamses bring up the rear, and the medical car always at the back of the grid. Should take part in qualifying more. 4 lights, 5 lights. It's lights out. Hamilton, good start. What a start by Hamilton. And Sainz is up to 2nd place, coming down into turn 1. And it's Hamilton with Sainz. And Lando Norris has gone all the way up to 4th and fighting the Bottas. Bottas has had a dreadful start. Oh, the Leclerc are getting squeezed by Raikkonen as they come down to the Roger chicane. Look at this! Norris has got past Bottas. Norris has squeezed Valtteri Bottas. Now Bottas is struggling with the racing point. And all this is going to do is just leave Hamilton light years away. And Daniel Ricciardo's passed. Hi, how you doing? Hope, yeah, my hope is not been great recently. Bad news about that, but that's for another time. But hope things are well in India. Puncher. Bottas has, I think, a puncher or something. Apparently, he's reporting. But he could explain it. Verstappen's had a dreadful start. He's lost 3 places. Not that I'm saying I'm not happy. And Hamilton is just thinking, where's Bottas? And yes, please. The 2 McLarens are second and third. Sainz is second. Norris is third. Perez in the racing point is fourth. Bottas is in sixth behind Ricciardo. Oh, they improved last year, man. I said they were going to improve this year. Well, apparently front wing looks okay on Bottas's car. The pressures look good in terms of tyre pressures, so it's just maybe a poor start. No heat in the tyres. Verstappen trying to go around the outside of Lance Stroll. Oh, he's jumped that curb. He's not done that car any good going over that curb. Oh, he would have felt that. And look at this, Stroll trying to come back at Verstappen. But Verstappen will hold position. Bottas just didn't get away. He just didn't get away. Didn't have a good reaction. And Lando first tries to get around the outside. And that's where Verstappen went. No, who are you talking about? Yeah, but you weren't talking about them. That's not Gasly. That's Norris. They're not in the investigation. For what? He hasn't touched anyone. Right? And plus they make allowances at turn 1. You're expecting them to have knocks. If you expect them all to get round in one piece, around that sort of corner, then you're asking a lot. Look. Oh. It's between Gasly and apparently this race control are looking and have noted an incident between Albon and Gasly. And just showing again, Norris's amazing overtake round the outside of Valtteri Bottas into the Rogier chicane. Right. But that investigation between Gasly and Albon, that's no investigation. That's called turn 1. If anything. But just showing lap 4, Hamilton is disappearing down the road. Like, no Red Bulls are challenging. No, like, yeah, like, it's like climbing, it's like, so plan B already for plan B, as in B for Bottas, plan B. Right, maybe he needs to sing a plan B for that one. Yeah, it's plan A for the 18 for Lewis Hamilton as he streaks away. 3 seconds now. Right. This is where we also now get to see what happens with the engine modes, because they're only allowed one set of one mode for the winner. And this is where I think it's going to be. It's going to hinder the racing. Vettel 17th, started 17th, and guess what? He's being caught. He's getting caught by the Williams. No. There's a rear left problem for Vettel. Oh, and Vettel's gone straight off. Straight through the block, polystyrene blocks at turn 1. There is something fundamentally wrong with Vettel's car. Brakes have failed already, and it's lap 6. Wow. Right, when it rains for Ferrari, it pours. What's happened here? Yeah, his brakes are on fire. By not driving very fast. Yeah, and he'll bring it back to the pits. It's not like it's gonna. It's not the 70s where it's once it's like a match. Okay. Like carbon fiber takes ages to burn. What's the most important thing is how it gets to the driver's cell of the car, where the driver sits, and it takes ages. Trust me. It takes more than a fire for that one. But yeah, let me know your thoughts to the start of this Grand Prix. Very surprising action, I'd say. And Verstappen now fighting Bottas in 6th. Bottas is struggling. Yeah, Vettel's coasted in. He's not even doing 10 miles an hour into the pit lane. They'll stop him, don't worry. That's one brake. Right? There are 3 other brake parts to the braking system. Right, so he can stop, but not to the point power that he should be stopping. Yeah. So Sebastian Vettel out of this Grand Prix with brake failure after just 6 laps of this Grand Prix. And that's Ferrari story in a nutshell. Failure. Right. He's making more use of that car being a battery man for the polystyrene boards than actually racing it as a racing car. And the fact that this is going to probably stay like this for Ferrari until 2022, until the rules come in, is, well, I've never seen it like this, to be honest. Yeah, but that was back in the 80s. That was back in the 80s. That's what I'm saying. Is I've never seen it this bad. I saw the Schumacher era, so. But even like, yeah, I only seen the Schumacher era. But even after Schumacher's era, in 2010, 2011, 2014, when they didn't even win a Grand Prix, it wasn't as bad as this. This season's even top 2014 off. You say that, but he left in 2006, and then they won the championship the next season. When they didn't win it in 2006. Well, no. They had John Todd there. Well, yeah, then it went kaput. But let me know your thoughts on how Ferrari are. I mean, sad. It really is. Meanwhile, there's a battle for third at the minute. No, it is sad to see a name like Ferrari like that, like it is, despite rivalries. Right. It's like McLaren when they had their problems with Honda. A famous Formula One name like that should not be suffering the way it should.
There we go.
Oh yeah, but yeah, battle at the minute was for third, fourth, fifth, but then you can also say that's a battle with Verstappen and Verstappen. Oh, there's a penalty for. There's been apparently a penalty for Albon. Failure to leave a car width at the edge of the circuit. They just showed an incident of him trying to overtake. No, you've got no. If someone's making a genuine attempt to overtake, even if it's a long way back like Grosjean was, you have to leave a car width of space. Right? As how 2018, Verstappen was punished at the same corner for doing the same thing. So you can't punish Verstappen and then not punish Albon for the same thing. But Norris in third, and he's holding up. Perez in fourth, Ricardo fifth, Bottas sixth, whilst Sainz is like about over a second. He's over a second in front of Norris, and Hamilton is got a nice gap at 6 seconds, and I think if he knows he can pull away if he wants to, but knows he doesn't have to. He can just control the pace. Because don't forget, he's only got one set of engine modes. Steven Ozil played yesterday. Oh, did he really? Surprised. I'm gobsmacked. That doesn't mean he's not going to start at the start. That doesn't mean he's going to start at the start of the season. Right. When you got your manager saying he's not doing well enough in training, right, then the only chance he's going to get is in a friendly. Right, it's all right in playing like friendlies, right? But every time he's had his chance on the Premier League stage, right, whether it's been under Arteta or Emery, he's not performed. And I don't really want to keep talking about it, to be honest. Yeah, in their 3-2 loss against Aston Villa. Well, there you go. But that's not entirely. You can't say that's entirely Ozil's fault because he's not a defender, right? For a start, but you then defend as a team and play as a team, right? And for me, he doesn't do that. He doesn't put the effort in that we saw in the Community Shield. Whenever you've seen Ozil part of a team, right, that played the way they did against Liverpool, right, twice, and Man City, and won. Never. But anyway, hopefully it just tells Arteta even more that we should just leave him as just leave him with his PS4 until he goes. I I'm glad actually that he thinks playing PS4 is good enough. I because I tell you what, ain't good enough for me. Not in life anyway. But then again, maybe we should play him out on the left and put Kolasinac as a left back. Right. I mean, the two of them work well as a bodyguard partnership and defending, don't they? He needs his he needs his bodyguard, doesn't he? What's that? No, I'm being deadly truthful. Them two work well together. I mean, they got threatened. They didn't actually get robbed in the end, did they? Right? They did stop the robbers. Maybe they actually defend the left hand side better. Doubt it. I'll still put Tierney there, like, any day of the week. Honest predictions where Arsenal finish in the season. Still depends what happens really with the transfer window. If what's been going around with Aouar and Partey is true, and we are really in talks with them, and we get them done, I can't see why we can't challenge top four. I wouldn't be if there's clear improvement and we've missed out the top four by a couple of points, 3 points, whatever. I wouldn't be totally disheartened. If we win the Europa League, then there's clear progress, obviously, even if we finished fifth. But if we get the signings that we're trying to get in a minute, I don't see why we can't get fourth. Right? But yeah, let me know. Let me know, by the way, what your thoughts are when Arsenal finish and your thoughts so far on the Grand Prix. Because I mean, Hamilton now is just 0.3 under 9 seconds in front. And I think the start of this Grand Prix, as much as it's love to see McLaren second and third, it's really just given Hamilton the keys to just go, bye, mission already. Right? I think you can stop, have a cup of tea, read the newspaper, right? Have a cigar, right? Get back in the car and still be in the lead the way he's going. And like I said, if he wants to really put daylight between the rest of them, he could do by just pushing even harder. I'm not. This is not Hamilton. It is flying best. This is Hamilton managing the race and the car. Thanks for your comment again. How comes Werner, Ziyech, Havertz cannot sign for Arsenal? Chelsea didn't really need those players. I tend to disagree. I think they did. The reason they won't come to Arsenal is because like Chelsea had Champions League for a start. They're on the same sort of project as we are. And it's only just been recently that we've sort of had a project to work on. Which means yeah, sorry, I was just listening to an update on the new power mode rules. But yeah, the reason they wouldn't sign for Arsenal is by the time we sort out a project, the same as Chelsea's, they were already heading towards Chelsea. And I don't think we'll be able to compete with them. Like Chelsea don't mess around as well. You got to admit, Chelsea, the way they do business, if they want a player, they put the money down. I'm not hearing this. They have got the money. We've got the money as well. That's the point. Right, we'll squint and save for every pound, penny, right, shilling, whatever. Whereas they just put the money down if they want the player. But they're just quick update on the rules they're just given. They can only turn down the engine unless it's reliability. They can't do it for fuel saving, right? They've got to have a set mode for the whole Grand Prix, but they can only turn it down if there's a serious problem with the car and they need to turn it down. But this is the point, and look at it now, is that we've had Norris third, Perez fourth, Ricciardo fifth, Bottas sixth, and Verstappen seventh, and no one will be able to overtake each other. He's just said, and Bottas has just said it. I can't race with these we can't race with these engine settings. It's a joke. It is a joke. What's the bloody point in Formula One if they're not allowed to like design an engine to be able to go faster? Because we're hardly seeing any overtaking here, right? But then again, right, when you have teams like Red Bull that keep moaning, right, because they haven't got an engine that's got their own power modes, what do you expect? Right? Maybe they need to stop moaning at the fact that Mercedes got these power modes and everything and actually build a car that can actually go faster than them. Because most of the circuits in Formula One are not power driven, right? They're a lot more aerodynamics. Right? I don't see Arsenal getting top four. I do see Aurora Partey coming as Arsenal aren't. I don't see Aurora and Partey coming as Arsenal aren't even close to selling anyone. That is a point. We will have to try and finance it by selling players, and the problem is we've got people that are shit on big contracts, and everyone's looking at us like we don't want them. But anyway, Leclerc's pitted for the harder compound tyre in an attempt to undercut, and I think that's the only way anyone's going to overtake anyone in this Grand Prix, and that's in the one and only pit stop. Right? The only thing I want to hear from the FIA now is that they've looked at the first 18 laps and said, okay, we've made a mistake here. Get rid of this rule. Right, do what you want. Right, just change the rule in the middle of the race because everyone can't overtake each other because they're all in the same settings. Depends on who still does the best business, who will get top four. I loved Formula One when I was younger. Schumacher used to dominate. Now it's Hamilton, but he has no challenge. I stopped watching 5 years ago. Well, he had a challenge in 18 and 2017, but what's happened is that Mercedes have learned from those experiences. Ferrari haven't learned from their mistakes, right? And they've been trying to fix their mistakes by the car. And actually, most of the time, it wasn't actually the car that was the issue. It was the team that was the issue. Right? Mercedes had the better team, not the better car. And Magnussen is driving, pulling over. Something broke. Well, clearly, because you've stopped, mate. Right? It's like you pulled it. Clearly, something broke because to us, that's like pulling over the hard shoulder on the N25. So it looks like, yeah, the entrance to the pit lane hasn't crossed the line, so the mechanics can't get it. He's still out on circuit, but it's at the pit entry. It's right. My favourite has always been Monte Carlo. Yeah, that's always been mine. That's always been mine because of the challenge. Yeah, well, depends on sometimes strategy. If we had the tyres that could make more of one pit stop, then be better. But safety car has been deployed for this. A safety car. What? Why can't they push it in? It's not in their firing line. Wow. And Hamilton's boxed. So Hamilton's boxed on lap 20. He'll get to the end on those. Like they said, soft tyre, pit at lap 16. And he's gone for mediums. Oh, hello. Carlos Sainz has stayed out. Hamilton is second. Norris has pitted. Oh my lord. Hamilton was so far in front, he's managed to pit before the pit lane had closed. That used to like play Montreal as well. Oh, do you play the F1 game on your computer? I play on my PS4. I've got to place it as well for everything as well. Like the esports championship play seats. Like fucking expensive. But they've shut the pit lane, but Hamilton been able to get in and pit. Why don't they back that into the barriers? No, they're trying to get it on the tarmac and push it into the pit lane. When they could just back it between the barriers. It's not like they're going to bring the car back to the garage to fix it and bring it back out again. What's the point in that? You're just screwing everyone over. Now Hamilton is under investigation on Giovinazzi entering the pit lane when closed. When they could put the damn car behind the damn barriers. It's fucking stupid. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. They're not bringing that car back out into the race. That is ridiculous. There is no need. You're putting you're putting stewards and marshals at risk for no reason. Because no one's ever heard of a reverse gear. Right, and they put it behind the barrier. So now one's getting penalised because no one can realise that, let's put it behind the barrier. That's what the barrier separators are for. That's why there's breaks in the barriers. Right. Stop. No, it's yellow. Yeah, but everyone else would have. Oh. So now Hamilton's got to put his fucking foot down. Oh, and had safety cars ending this lap. So Hamilton might still have a gap left. So Hamilton is desperate to get that safety car in the pit lane as fast as he can. But like I said, this is all utter crap. You ever hear about the race Belgium when nearly all the drivers from the first corner? 1998, that was. 14 drivers pitted. 12 to 14 drivers were out in the first lap, but they had the spare cars back then, so they could have half the grid back. Why are you backing them up? Right, get on with it. Go, 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 go. He's got to put his foot down now. Either way, this is complete bollocks. It's put fucking marshals at risk for no reason. That's what the separators and the barriers are for, to wheel cars out the way, not drive them into the pit lanes and then everyone stop everyone else from pitting. But what it has done is completely shuffle the grid. We now have Hamilton under investigation in first and going like a steam train. Lance Stroll in second, who hasn't pitted. He's Gasly third, Leclerc fourth, Raikkonen fifth, Giovinazzi sixth. The two McLarens from second and third are now seventh and eighth. Bottas ninth, Latifi 10th, Ricciardo 11th, and Verstappen back in 12th. Ocon 13th, Kvyat 14th, Perez 15th, the two Russell 16th, and Barrel! Oh! Massive accident for Leclerc. Brake failure by the look of it. Straight into the barriers at Parabolica. Yeah, it'll be all right. I'm sure it'll be all right. Another serious accident. You got some real passion for Formula One. Yeah, I've watched from as I was a kid, so I know my sport inside out. Yeah, and Leclerc's out the car. Yep. Same with the barriers. It wasn't brake failure. He just lost it. No. Otherwise he would have lost it in braking. If it was brake failure, he would have lost it in braking. He put too much power down. Oh no.
Go.
Shh. Right, so I'm sorry, I'm just having to. Hi, Jamie Gaming Sports. How are you? Is a red flag situation. No, he's not. That's a replay. Right, so Hamilton, because he was there earlier, he's got the light saying that it was open, whether Giovinazzi got it when it was closed, the pit lane. Hence why Giovinazzi's got a penalty, and yet there's still an investigation on Hamilton. But anyway, the race has been red flagged. Hamilton will get the chance to steam away for a couple of laps before having to take any penalty. Well, Lewis is saying there was a light at the pit lane. And if there's a light at the pit lane, then the pit lane's open. Yes, so what I'm saying is the pit lane's open.
No, he's saying it's too late. You're committed to go.
Yeah, so I'm saying if they're saying that light, it's the open.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Obviously, football. Yeah, our Duff is one of the best games, of course. So yeah, sorry, I've just been caught by the drama. Also, after the safety car in Magnussen, stupid safety car, right, and closing the pit lane, Giovinazzi and Hamilton won the investigation. The race got back underway. As we started the next lap, Leclerc went off at the parabolica, losing the back end, destroying the car and the barriers, which when we now needed not a safety car, a red flag. Giovinazzi has been given a 10-step and stop and go penalty for not for pitting whilst the pit lane was closed. But in Hamilton's case, Hamilton, by the time he had committed to the pit lane, the light was still clear for him to come and pit. So that's why they're still investigating Hamilton and whether he has a claim to say that the pit lane was open when he got to the pit lane. And at the minute, it's now red flags. They're all lined up in the pit lane whilst this barrier gets fixed. But I do, if I've been a bit late with updating. No, Hamilton's now got a stop and go penalty because no one's ever thought about separators and the barriers and sticking the car in between it. Right? Absolutely brilliant. Utter bollocks. It's all put marshals at risk and push the car into a pit lane on a live circuit. When Magnussen put the car there specifically because there was a gap in the barriers. So now Hamilton is going to have to go like a steam train at the start of the race because he's got a 10-second stop and go.
The guy talking about it.
Shh. Now, Lando Norris is under investigation as well, because for unnecessary slowing before entering the pit lane, because he was trying to get a gap, so that way he didn't lose time, double stacking behind. Sainz, while Hamilton scoots off to tell the FIA that their safety standards are utter bollocks. Well, yeah, that's what happens at a red flag. The barrier's got to be replaced. I don't really care. Right, you would think when there's separating the barriers and a driver pulls over because of that, they put the car in between the barriers, not push it down way down to the pit lane. But obviously people don't see sense. Unless the Italian marshal did it on purpose because they're Ferrari fans. This question is so easy. No, it's not. You're, yeah. I believe it. Oh, someone's that come onto the screen. Hi.
All right, again?
Yeah, you?
I'm good.
You watching this Grand Prix at the minute?
Nah, I'm interested in it, to be honest, but don't really have the channels for it.
No Sky.
Actually, I'm going to go now. Sorry. Bye. I'll come back when you talk about football.
Oh, that'll be Wednesday at 8.
All right, then, bye.
Bye. Yeah, but really, I wanted this is a F1 sort of stream. But they're showing a replay of Norris slowing before the pit lane. Hamilton was done in 2017 and Bahrain once for this. That's a bit of judgment call, to be honest. Hamilton now at Mercedes pit wall. I'm sorry, if they had the time, I would be out straight at the stewards right now, seeing what you're playing at. Right? Not just because of the penalty, the fact you put marshals at risk at a live circuit to push a car into a pit lane when there's a perfectly good separation in the barriers. No, but you're putting people at risk. You give it all this bollocks about not putting drivers and teams and mechanics at risk, and then they do a stupid thing like that. Just showing Hamilton discussing it with the pit wall, with Toto Wolff, his race engineer Bono. Let me know what you think about it. I think safety-wise, it's absolute bollocks. Right? You're putting people at risk for no reason. Right? Those marshals are volunteers. Right? They shouldn't be treated in that way. You shouldn't be made to be put into a risky situation like that. And there's a quite easy solution. Right? Yes, I'm a Hamilton supporter, but I'd say that if it was any other driver. I'm a Gasly. Yeah, I mean, he's really benefited out of this. He's the ones who I think pitted the lap before the all drama started are the main beneficiaries out of this. Could be very valuable points by the end of this Grand Prix. What? Well, no, just anyone who's. No, just anyone who pitted before Magnussen's incident.
No, help him.
What? No, it didn't.
No, yeah.
Who?
No, it's going to help us now.
He's 11. How does that help? Don't tell me he's fighting for the championship. Oh, don't, please. Right? Right? You may think he's like the next challenger, but he's got a long way to go. Right? He's got a lot to learn. A hell of a lot. While you wait for this restart, how many players you reckon Arsenal need before window shuts? I think Spurs need 3 new signings. He's a Spurs fan. Please. No, he's asked. It said that I think the Spurs need 3 more signs. Please, Mum. For me, a Ryan Party key. Then it depends who. If we could find a placement for Lacazette, no. For me, Ryan Party are key. If we can get them two, then I'd say in terms of a top 4 challenge, we're up there. So, yeah, for me, Orion Party. So, thoughts on Goulion being offered to us? Not heard of him, to be honest, Jamie. Spanish footballer said. What do you think about Messi and Man City? Well, apparently Messi is saying he wants to stay at Barcelona now. But even so, if the release clause has to be paid, which is 700 million, then that ain't gonna happen. It could be maybe that Messi waits until that contract's over, but I think he's probably, like someone said in another stream, it's been used to sort of influence Barcelona to make changes. Definitely need another striker to set the pressure off Aubameyang. Yeah, I mean, if we can get rid of if we get the right money for Lacazette, I mean, Aouar and Partey are key for me. They're absolutely key. Right. Right. So, sorry, just going for the Parabolica. Right. So apparently he's seen two panels that before the pit lane entry. Before pit lane, which means could be, which shows that Hamilton did not adhere to the red flag or to the pit lane being closed. So, yeah. But like I said, the stop go should never have happened in the first place, right? Right, or the pit lane closure should never happen in the first place because they should have pushed the car in between the fucking barriers, right? There's why there's gaps in the barriers, right? So when the car pulls over on the middle of the circuit, right? So if Manson decides to stop before the parabolica, what? You're going to push it all the way around the parabolica to the pit lane? No, you're going to stop right when the next separation in the barriers is, and that's my point. They've made marshals come out for no fucking reason, cause all this carnage for no reason as well. Right. You don't want free signing for Man City. Could be a free signing for Man City if Messi contract ends. But it's, again, does Messi say he wants to stay or does he leave? I think it's all in Messi's call. And if Messi wants to move to Guardiola, right, it will be done. No, it's still not started yet. We're starting at 4:20 local time, which will be 3. So in 11 minutes. Oh yeah. So he's being forced. Yeah. Is that Messi? I got the gist that Barcelona didn't want to sell him, and it was Messi who wanted to go. But it's like I said in last week's show, like the title said, it's Barca in a messy situation. Excuse the pun. So, hey, you can Not the scooter, mate, but he can drive. At least he's driving faster than a Ferrari on his scooter. Right, you do have to admit. Right, at least he's going somewhere, unlike the Ferrari. So 9 minutes to the restart. So now we're halfway. We're actually now at the halfway point of this race. Actually, let me know in the comments what's going to happen next. Who's going to win this race? Because it's really all up in the air now. Can Hamilton do the unthinkable and come back from a 10-second stop and go to still win the Grand Prix? Or will someone other than Mercedes or Red Bull win? Can the McLarens get past the Alphas, Gasly and Stroll to win it? Yeah, so no, Vettel will not start the race because technically, if he was started in this race, he would be 21 laps down, right? Because he hasn't done the race distance. It could be every chance that the AlphaTauri of Gasly win, right? AlphaTauri in a good position here, right? Their only victory was at Monza with Vettel, so when they were under Toro Rosso, so yeah. Still. Yeah, my health is. I've had some bad news about it. I've been told that the surgery I need to fix my health, they can't do because there's no central line access to be able to do the procedure to keep me alive. So unless we wait for the collaterals, which grow if a vein is blocked to go around the problem, if that doesn't grow, I'll give you stuff like this. People saying it will. There we go. So it'll be a standing start. So they're going to leave the pit lane as they would leave before the start of a race. Do their formation lap, line up on the grid, and then go. So a bit more added pressure. Not like before, where they would leave the pit lane, wait for the safety car to come in after that one lap, and then restart. And race control have just said no radio communications on roll around lap to the grid. So as they go to the grid, they're not allowed to make any communications. But yeah, I hope your mum is. I hope she gets up soon. Right, and like my best wishes to her. Yep, like I said, Marcus, standing start. They'll go to the grid, and then we'll have a standing start from there. Could be beneficial for Hamilton actually. He could get more of a gap after the first corner. this race versus Austria. Yep. That safety car would be, yeah. I always wonder whether it can try and make specifically look at the safety car to try and make it as fast as it can. Right, in a two-seat, to try and make the two-seat F1 safety car as fast as they can, so that way it doesn't be so slow. But anyway, they've left the pit lane. They're now on their way to the grid. Standing start. Do you mind? Sorry, it's the dog. So they've switched Hamilton to the medium tyre, hard tyre, sorry, to start. So obviously going to the end. Can Hamilton win this Grand Prix still and make it his 90th win, putting in one behind Schumacher and beating Schumacher's points record? It's a standing start, Mum. Yes, Mum. You can't take it under safety car, can you? It's not a penalty, is it? These streams are good. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Like, if that helps, mate, then I'm glad I can help in that way. Like, it helps me take my mind off things that are going on with me in a minute. So, yeah, by all means, you're welcome on. Actually, I forgot to do that. In case anyone does want to come on. But here we go. They're going to line up to start. 3, 4, 5. Lights out. And Hamilton's got away. He's got to get away first. He's got away first. It's good. It's good. Good start by Hamilton. And second, Pierre Gasly. The two Alfa Romeos, but Perez challenging one of the Alphas. As the Alpha is challenging there. Oh, and the fourth racing point goes flying off the circuit. Nearly took out the guy in front. Comes back on. Now, Hamilton, how fast can you go? He's got to floor it. I predict Hamilton can get back on the podium. I feel for this win, doubtful. Depends how far he can go. And Hamilton served it now. So Gasly leads the Italian Grand Prix. Raikkonen is second. Giovinazzi is third. Sainz is fourth. Stroll fifth. Norris sixth. Bottas seventh. Ricciardo eighth. Ocon ninth. And Verstappen is in 13th and under investigation. How many is he winning? Oh my God. 50 up. He's nearly 47 points, I believe. Yeah, Gasly leading the Grand Prix. Ferrari power car in third, yeah. But I won't write off McLaren. Of course he's out. Of course he's out on circuit. What we need is another safety car.
Where they're going, you probably get them.
So, Hamilton, 23 seconds. I know. 25 points for a win, yes. Now it is, yes. But his nearest competitors in the championship are 14th and 7th. So Perez and Verstappen been cleared of the incident at turn 1 at the restart. So Giovinazzi comes in to serve his penalty. Well, that'll be one more place for Hamilton. Yeah, 1 point for fastest lap, which is held by Hamilton actually, but that's only going to be held by Hamilton if he gets in the points. Verstappen's pitted. Verstappen's in the pits with a problem. He's out. Max Verstappen is out of the Italian Grand Prix. Why couldn't you stop out on circuit and force a safety car right at the pit entry? Right? I mean, it's quite clear to see they can't use separation of the barriers. They've got to push everything to the fucking pit lane. Right? Why couldn't you do that? Right? Seriously. Mercedes is not good in traffic. No, it hasn't been. But then no car isn't good in traffic because why? We've stopped doing fucking party modes. Right? So we've basically stopped overtaking. Right? the whole idea was to try and get people overtaken, and now they've stopped it because some teams bitch and moan that they haven't got a party mode or develop one. Perez, yeah, damage from Perez is obviously. Is it how strong the car is? It's a bit of both. You've got to have a strong package to be able to dominate in Formula One. You've got to have a great team around you, right? Like Mercedes, like Schumacher with Ferrari, and that. Right? Not Ayrton Senna did with McLaren, but you also got to be an extremely talented driver because, I mean, Schumacher. I mean, Senna had Prost as his teammate, right? At one point, and Prost is no slouch. So, yeah, you've got to be just as good on circuit as well as the car being on circuit. So Hamilton is now 12 points off the lead, and George Russell going over the curbs, trying to overtake Romain Grosjean, but he's going to come back at him to the Roger chicane. No, not this time. Oh yeah, he did do that as well. Overtake him on his. Why do rival fans? I don't know. Probably because like our fan base sometimes gets so overhyped about certain things, like players and that, like when instead of taking the more realistic view. Oh, the reactionary ones will. I won't. I'll not be happy. Obviously, we should be doing better than that. But if it's gone one around the outside, and Sainz has moved up to second. What a move by Carlos Sainz. Oh. So Hamilton now 7 seconds off Albon and the rest of the pack. So he's really closed that gap down now. Do you have a fancy? No, I don't usually do fancy football stuff really. No, I don't. When I was a kid, there was no internet for it. We talk about apps and stuff. You're realistic. Yeah, I mean, I try. You've got to be realistic. You can have banter, obviously, with football and that, and the same with F1. But you've got to be realistic. As Hamilton sets a new fastest lap at 1:22.7, and it's Raikkonen, and it's Stroll getting past Raikkonen right on the outside of Roger chicane. So, can Sainz close Gasly down? And can Stroll catch the pair of them? Oh, squeezed. Just got through. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Hamilton now back in touch with Albon. And now Norris has passed Raikkonen into turn one. Is there something wrong with Raikkonen's car? Oh, well, someone's got to be. But that's the thing. I don't. That's not a fancy football league. No, it's not. Fantasy football league and a stock market is two different things. No, it's not. One's not gambling, one is. They're not gambling. One is, one isn't. No, yeah, the stock market one is in the football index. Right, the fantasy football league isn't. That's called picking your favourite team. You don't win money. Albon, Brazil again. Oh, maybe not. Or Austria. And yeah, I know you got fans. It's banter, right? What's the point in enjoying football if you can't have banter? How about it? I mean, Man City, look at their fan base. I mean, Champions League, they can't even fit it. So Sainz in 8 laps can catch Gasly. So Sainz is closing down the leader. To this guy. Yeah, but there's some people that are just, they really know their stuff. I always seem to pick the team that I think will do best, and then players start doing crap. Gasly also on soft. Yep. Here we go again. Now Hamilton's starting to dirty out Albon. No party modes or anything. It's no overtaking. If there's been a fundamental problem with the car, no one's been able to overtake anyone. Hamilton really a lot closer this time. No. He's got in the slipstream. But because you can't use the modes in the car, right, in the technology, you can't make an overtake in this fucking race. Fucking hell. I wasn't. Oh, fair play to you. I'm surprised you got. I'm not surprised by Bamiyang, but there you go. We are facing Leicester City in the League Cup. Yeah, I'm hoping that Lee Chappie could join us for that at some point. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, back to it. Hamilton did get past eventually Albon. Now he's going to start trying to get through this pack. Here, he's now up into 14th. He needs 4 more places to be able to make that fastest lap count. He will get past the Williamses easily here. So we've got 13 laps remaining, including this one. Sainz 2.7 seconds behind Gasly up the front as Hamilton overtakes Russell for 13th and now sets his sights on Romain Grosjean. This proved that Hamilton is one of the best drivers. Well, of course. You don't win 6 titles just driving around, just driving at the front all the time. Other players got in there. There is Tierney. Oh, yeah. It's between him and Robertson, isn't it? But I actually think Tierney could be better, in my mind, than Robertson. Not saying he is, but could be. Gasly and Albon on the same tyre. Yeah, and Albon not making much of a move. No doubt Hamilton's going to get. He's going to just breeze past Romain Grosjean. And Where do you think Hamilton's going to finish? That's what I want to know. He's now up to 12th and closing on Latifi. Where do you think he is going to end up finishing in this race? Like, because at the minute he's getting past them like he's playing a PS4 game. It's like putting it on easy settings. At the minute. But obviously as you get higher up the grid, it's going to get more difficult. And speaking of another overtake, it looks like Ocon has got the run on Raikkonen. Not this brave this time, going around the outside. Oh, piece of front wing has just come off. Piece of front wing's just come off Ocon's car as he's trying to get past Raikkonen. But he has got past him this time. How many laps left? There are now 11 laps, including this one. I don't know. Hamilton, Balcons. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Just out of curiosity, why not Hamilton? Just curiosity. Hamilton in front of Bottas. Very possible. Because Bottas is struggling to make one overtake. You can see the difference. Fifth or sixth. So, Kvyat has got past now Raikkonen. I think Raikkonen's tyres are going. Can Sainz catch Gasly? Is 2.2 seconds now with 10 laps to go. Oh, Gasly, can he win his first ever Grand Prix? And it would have been in the Red Bull of 2019. It would be in the AlphaTauri of 2020. Is Hamilton on fresh tyres? No, he's been on the same tyres that he's been in since the restart, which is lap 27. Everyone's on the same lap of tyres. It's basically a sprint race to the finish. And just watching Hamilton right round the outside of Latifi into the Roger chicane, and that's him up to 11th. One more place, and that fastest lap will count. So he'll get 2 points instead of 1 point if he finished 10th. 9 laps. Gasly better than Alp. I think it's tight between the two of them. Statistically, obviously, Gasly would be better if he wins this Grand Prix. Or second. Or third. But what would be even greater story? McLaren catching Gasly, passing Gasly, and winning their first Grand Prix since Brazil 2012. McLaren, with the heritage and history they've got, to win their first Grand Prix since 2012. 8 years. Norris still holding Bottas off in 4th. And Hamilton gets past Raikkonen, and he's in the points. He's 10th. So as it stands, he will get 2 points because of the fastest lap. Long time is. Is DRS still used in Formula? Yeah, it is still used in Formula 1. In 2, usually circuits get 3 zones to 2 zones. It's only Monaco where there's only 1 DRS zone that they can use it, but they still use it. But my problem has been throughout this Grand Prix is the power modes. 1 lap, Sainz will be in striking distance of Gasly for the lead with 7 laps, including this lap, remaining. It's McLaren in 8 years. Well, ever since Hamilton left, they've fallen and fallen and fallen. They haven't had the right drivers to drag what's best out of the car. I do think after time it was Hamilton winning in races, winning in cars that weren't good enough. But yeah, we've got 6 laps. No, we've got 6 laps remaining. Gasly in front, Sainz chasing him down. 1.2 seconds. Here we go. Oh, Sainz struggling to get in the turbulent air. 5 laps to go. And still good. Honda, that why. No, it wasn't just that. They were poor before they went to Honda, so they had 2 years that were poor. So as Hamilton passes Perez for 9th. 3 laps, 3 points. Danny Hamilton won a world. Yeah, and they were literally level pegging with Ferrari throughout that season. Right, is that Glock? Is that Glock? The famous words at the last corner of the last lap of the last race. They got that. That. Yeah, commentators usually get the stats wrong. Brazil is the best Gasly. Yeah, definitely. F2 format for F. Nah. So they're just giving Sainz another sort of option to try and get into that DRS zone. If he gets in that DRS zone, it'll get right up behind him. Then it's on. Oh, here we go. Hamilton trying to get past Kvyat. It looks like he's going to. Yeah. Hamilton now up to 8th. Could get 7th still. Masha should have won it. That. No. Nah, not me. No. Do you know why? Because I'll give you an example. Belgium, 2008, they told Hamilton when he let Kimi by, right, that it was perfectly fine to overtake him at the next corner. And what he did, in that race was perfectly fine. Didn't make much of a difference anyway because Raikkonen crashed out. But no, the FIA fucking screwed him over. Right? They were both brilliant that year, but I'm sorry. They did everything they could, the FIA, to screw him over. He's not going to slow him anymore. He's passed him. And then Red Bull, to be honest, they're not. Sainz was slow last lap. Yeah, it's 1 point. It's 1.1. Is it 9? It's 9/10. Is it enough? No. Oh, Sainz has got DRS. This is going to go down to the. Oh, this is so close. Slipstream to the Ascari chicane. And Hamilton's passed Ocon for 7th. Oh, this is going to be so close. And AlphaTauri win it. Pierre Gasly's won it. Norris fourth, Stroll third, Sainz second, Bottas fifth, Ricciardo sixth, Hamilton seventh, and with fastest lap. Well done to AlphaTauri. Right, fair play to them. Fair play to McLaren. Right. Right, I made my feelings very clear about the whole safety car incident. Right. That's right. Yeah, they have. Right, but fair play to Gasly to come. Right. This time last year,
Very happy.
this time last year, Pierre Gasly was in the dumps after being dropped from Red Bull. And now he's a race winner in Formula One. And look at that, Red Bull coming out to clap AlphaTauri and Pierre Gasly. Because they dropped Pierre Gasly that last season. And AlphaTauri are the B team.
Well done, mate.
Well done. Right, he held his own in that. Hamilton gets fastest lap of the race. Right, Hamilton. Right, if the proper procedure was done with Magnussen's car, Hamilton would have won this race at a cruise. Right? No, it hasn't really, because right, his two main rivals, one's out and one finished 2 places above him. I think about 3 points in front. So not really. No.
You know, what I'm saying is it's just.
Yeah, it is, but I'm sorry. My main issue with it is safety. Don't push a car back to the pit lane on a live circuit when it's under a safety car. Don't care. Not when there's a gap in the barriers. Not when the car's going to come back out in the race. Right? So if they follow the proper procedure, Hamilton would have won that race at a cruise because they wouldn't need to close the pit lane. One. No, they'll still keep the name, but the family are going away. But yeah, Mum just said last race now for the Williams family. I'm sure that Williams' name will stay in Formula One, but the family itself are now done in Formula One. 9 times constructors, 9 times drivers, 7 times drivers. But yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. French winner as well. A French winner. Williams almost got in the points. That would have been nice. Right, Stroll P3, mate. Charles Leclerc congratulating him, and wow, first French winner since 1996. Given the names such as Prost, Panis. Oh, nearly was the points for Williams. Would have been nice. Sad to see the family go. I would have liked to, in all honesty, I'd like to have seen McLaren won it, to be honest. Because I always used to, because I always had a fondness with McLaren. Rosberg. Which one? What, Williams? Talk about McLaren. Please. Anyway. Yeah. Yep, they did. They did that. Anyway, that's it for today's watch along. Epic Grand Prix. Lots of drama, controversy. In my opinion, lack of safety decisions. Gasly will be a world champion. Well, only time will tell. Only time will tell. We only thought at one point Hamilton could only win one, and look where he's come. So anything can happen in Formula One. And as Murray Walker says, as he says that, he usually then says he usually does. So yeah, we'll be back again for another watch along. Next weekend, we've got Arsenal Fulham on Saturday, which is a 12:45 kickoff. So join me for that. Hot Off the Press show will be Wednesday at 8, as usual. So I've got some more guests coming on for that, so tune into that. Until then, take it easy. Right, stay safe, stay well, and take care.